back in April a couple of years ago, and we were coming back from a dinosaur fossil farm, me and my son, and we got off Boulder, and we were coming down Boulder. I had a green light go on, and then the other guy ran a red light from the top investigator on the West Coast that was, he actually taught Metro and stuff how to investigate. Well, when they drew my blood, it was 20 hours after I had last medicated at night. So when they drew my blood, I had 4 active nanograms and like 40 metabolite. So 30 days later, they sent a SWAT team in to arrest me with ARs and all that good stuff. And then I proceeded to stay in jail for 6 months. And then they set my bail at $250K. Then I went to district court. She lowered it to 50, let me out on house arrest. So I spent another year on house arrest. We were going to fight this case. But, I was threatened with up to 16 years in prison, maybe even 32 if they ran the felony DUI and the felony child endangerment charges. So I ended up taking a plea for reckless driving and a misdemeanor DUI because I was threatened with that 16 or 32 years, basically. So I just pled under Alfred clause, meaning I'm not admitting guilt for this, but versus going to court and fighting this, they could charge me because they were really hammering on the 40 metabolite, which we all know has nothing to do with impairment. Also, that day of the accident, I passed all 3 of my field sobriety tests, which is almost unheard of because they're designed basically to make you fail. But I had passed every single one of them, and let home for 30 days. They let me leave the hospital after we got checked out. So they knew I wasn't impaired. Even in justice court, the main cop that sat with me the whole time in the hospital for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it was, he wasn't even at my prelim trial, to state, because he even stated I was not impaired. The cops on the stand stated I was not impaired. And the DA even admitted that the 4 nanograms is based on body fat, which probably I'm 25, 27% body fat that knows that stores in the body fat, but they still went on and charged me with this crime. The man wasn't even wearing a seatbelt, and the cop wrote in his report that he lost his life because he wasn't wearing his seatbelt. And I don't know, it's just been messed up for the whole time. I had 2 witnesses on my side stating I had a green light. 1 witness on the state side saying I ran a red light. So his witness, said, oh, he had a red light. He ran a red light. I was looking in the mirror and this and that. So I don't think anyone had a clue. There was other witnesses there that weren't 100% sure, but the cops didn't even bother taking their information at all. I mean, no phone numbers, nothing. They took a phone number of the 2 witnesses because the lady stated, oh my God, he's going to run a red light, because she was wondering why they weren't going. And she wasn't talking about me. She was talking about that other driver coming down at a high rate of speed off the freeway ramp. And this guy that looked over, he is a retired Air Force pilot, so he's a pretty good judge of speed and everything. But, after everything, I ended up taking a plea. after everything was said and done. Probably could have won the case, but I didn't want to risk that and be away from my kids. And the big one was dropping the child endangerment charge, because I didn't want to miss my kids forever. So I took that. They charged me with $110K of restitution, which we haven't seen one receipt yet for that number. And we challenged some of it, saying, well, we haven't seen receipts. They sat in this courtroom. You asked me, did they take any money from my insurance? Well, the day before I was sentenced, they took out the $50K from my insurance company and never said nothing. So we were going to go to the Supreme Court on that. She also gave me 14 to 48 months, suspended the sentence, put me on 5 years probation, took away my medical marijuana. And to caveat on that, I was on 12 pills before I went on medical marijuana, and I had dropped down to 2 pills. Now she took that away, so I'm back up to, I think, 10 pills, because I just won't take the opiates because they make me sick. So them are the other 2 I'm not taking, is the opiates, because it tears up my system and makes me mean, basically. So now I've been out there trying to educate people. If you smoke 1 joint in Nevada, you're a DUI for a legal substance that they passed a law saying, oh, you can use medical and recreation. You smoke 1 joint, if it's in your system, you're going to get a DUI. You get in an accident, you're going to get charged with a felony DUI. So, I mean, I've been trying to educate the normal meetings, the Las Vegas Medical Coalition. I got a really good lawyer right now that's taking it pro bono, and we're going to try to get my medicine back because she took it away. We're also going before a federal judge, hopefully, to get this vacated or, knocked down, because they were fighting so hard on the metabolite. And, everyone knows that has nothing to do with impairment, judgment, anything like that. So we will be going in front of a federal judge. I don't know if you're familiar with the Jessica Williams case.
No, I'm not.
Well, this young lady had smoked, partied, a little bit out at Red Rock Canyon, and she was coming back, and she fell asleep, and there was road workers on the side of the road. Well, she fell asleep and, accidentally killed 6 of them. Wow. They couldn't prove the DUI, so they gave her, I can't remember, but she ended up spending 18 years in prison. And she just got out, and they were fighting on the metabolite also, and the federal judge vacated her sentence when she got out. So we're hoping that that judge will see it, that, I have a green light. Man wasn't wearing his seatbelt. I never lied the whole time. I said I was a medical marijuana patient. I didn't think that'd get me in trouble, but as we know now, it will.
Yeah.
And I want to go to the legislation, because they passed this bill. They haven't changed this per se law that they put in over 20 years ago, and that was just the lowest limit they could test for. I mean, this has really no scientific backing, and quite frankly is an unconstitutional law for a legal substance. So I'm trying to get with senators and congressmen and fight this thing to help others. I mean, I took my pill and I'm swallowing it, but others need to know, and others need to fix this. So I'm going to do my damnedest to fight the system, basically, to help others, because this is wrong to say you take a substance, and up to 30-45 days you can be a DUI, basically, is what they're trying to say.
So you were saying you're trying to educate people on it. Do you have like group meetings, like virtual meetings, in-person meetings with other people facing the same?
I speak at the events. And now Corona has shut all that down.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I go to the normal events and I tell them about my story. I tell them, what could happen. And these people that are normal don't even know that. And I thought normal is for reform and they should know this stuff, but they didn't know it. They are shocked. The coalition is shocked that this could happen to someone, especially a combat vet. And I'm combat trained. When we take contact to look, and the first thing I saw was a green light. I said, well, what the hell's this guy doing? So yeah, I'm still going on the education piece. And once the legislation does go back into full session, we will be going up there and addressing them and saying, how can you do this? Because you got a per se law, you push to pass it, you're making revenue off it with taxes, but you're doing nothing to help the drivers and the medical patients and everyone else that is affected by this. So we're going to try our damnedest to push the legislation as hard as we can. I know Tamara has been doing great work out there also, and she's talking to congressmen and senators. So I think with all of our voices meshing together, someone's got to listen sooner or later. This whole thing of marijuana, your brain on drugs with an eggshell is just, that's old school. That's a campaign that never worked, obviously, but it's still that mentality. It's still the reefer madness mentality, and we need to change that.
And prior to this, what has it negatively affected in your life, besides the medication, like work situation, family situation, legal, like?
Well, I'm paying off $110K debt. Very hard to get a job as a felon. Very, very hard to get a job as a felon. Me and my wife actually split up during this. We're back together now, but I wasn't the same man. I was back in my hole. I was back on my zombie pills. So I wasn't the same man that walked out that door of medical marijuana and said, hey, I got my life back. And I used it during the night only to promote sleep. And that was more healthy for me to have a good night's rest before I attack the day. I mean, now I'm on 2 or 3 bangs a day with a Rockstar and Mountain Dew just to get through my day.
And what are your illnesses again? I'm sorry.
I have PTSD, severe PTSD, suicidal ideology, ankylosing arthritis, a TBI, and I used a lot of CBD products. I want to get that out there too. For my pain management, I used CBD, and for my sleep, instead of taking tramadol and everything else the VA prescribes, I used a half a marijuana cigarette before bed and slept pretty damn good, actually.
And I'm sorry, your age, like throughout this, like how long has it been going on for? When did it start, like year-wise?
Probably 2009 deployment, when we got our butts kicked a little bit over in Afghanistan. And that's where the demons started coming out. Since 2009, I was drinking real heavy, and I was trying to compensate with that. So I was drinking almost 2 bottles of vodka a night, and that became a problem.
Yeah.
So when I finally got med boarded out in December 2013, I went and got my medical card.
Okay.
And then, and I didn't want to, but someone told me it would work, and it did. It helped me, and I was on it from 2013 to whenever I got in the accident, which was 2017, I believe.
2017. Okay. And how old were you?
When that happened, 44, 45. Yeah, I'm 47 now. And I had a thought there, and I went, yeah, I lost it.
And has this affected like your military status, like being in combat, like after any like benefits that you possibly have reaped from the military? Has it been taken away or affected in any way?
No, they never took it away because I never went to prison.
Okay, yeah.
Prison, they take it away, they drop you down to 10%, but I got suspended and probation, so I kept my benefits. I'm 90% disabled through the VA, and I get another 70% for combat related injuries.
And
So
oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I still get both them pays, but living is, I'm back to blowing off everything, not wanting to do anything. Just, I want to sit home and be safe in my own space.
Yeah. Um. Oof, I just lost the thought.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, sorry. Moving forward, like you're still you have a pro bono lawyer. Like what are your goals for after if you hopefully are successful from your own case and your own passing and getting your medical card back?
Educate,
Educate.
educate, fight, fight in Congress, fight in the Senate, fight in the legislation. Someone needs to do it, and I just don't think, I don't want to knock normal, so I don't want this put in there, but they're not doing enough of the legislation from what I saw. It's more of a meet and greet with them instead of really hammering on them. You're doing this, and this is the effect. I need to go up there with my lawyer, and we need to hammer them. I mean, it's just, the myths and the truth need to be out. There is science out here now. There's great science out there now from Australia, from other places. They need to see this. Marijuana, they don't know marijuana, not metabolite, but the active, even when you quit smoking, goes up and down for weeks. And you're not even smoking. It doesn't mean you're impaired. It just means that active ingredients just fluctuating in your system. And I had four nanograms, and I know people that had 30, 40 nanograms in their bloodstream. Well, obviously you had smoked very recently to have them numbers.
Yeah.
And they need to find that threshold. I mean, AAA did a study also that no one's taken seriously, where to be equivalent to a 0.08, you'd have to be at 10 to 12 nanograms of active THC in your bloodstream. Well, after a day of smoking, there's no way anyone can have that much, really. Well, maybe they can, but I didn't smoke that much, and they said my levels were really low from other marijuana patients I talked to. My levels were low compared to theirs, and that just proves my point that I used it responsibly. I hid it. My kids never knew. My neighbors never knew. I just needed to survive, and I chose that way.
Yeah. Which is proven to be a great way to do it. Especially since you take them out discreetly. I know a lot of my friends' parents have their medical card to help them, and they just like use it at night in the like backyard or something.
Yeah, I have a rooftop deck, and I would go up there away from the kids and smoke my half a marijuana cigarette and go to bed.
Which has proven to help you sleep, which is great. I'm actually doing a podcast this week on it. Um, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I believe that you are fighting for the right thing. I believe that this shouldn't even have been a questioned, or you should have gone through what you've gone through. But then again, that's the broken system. Um, Pretty much just how you were explaining. Have your children been aware? Do you mind me asking, whatever you feel comfortable with answering, are your children aware of the situation, or are they too young? I'm not too sure how old they are.
They're 10. They know
Oh, okay.
they knew I was in jail because we had the video conferences and the phone calls, so they knew where I was. Um, and my son knows I didn't run a red light. My son said, "Well, Dad, why are you in jail? You told me green means go, and you said that at that light."
Yeah.
Yes, son. I acknowledged I was backing down for a red light, and it turned green, and I started to accelerate again through the light, and then they turned it on that I didn't give it time to clear. So I guess you can run red lights, but if you're impaired, you're the one, or if you're not, if you can run red lights and not be impaired, if you have a substance in your bloodstream, you will be charged.
And what is the exact name that you were, the meetings and all the events you were talking at, prior to coronavirus?
The Las Vegas Normal Chapter
Also, it's normal. Okay.
and the Las Vegas Medical Marijuana Coalition, I believe it was called.
You can always email me after if you don't know like the exact name, or you have more.
Yeah.
More is always good. You can always email it to me. I don't mind at all. I use these to like chop up the Zoom meeting and then put together an article.
Yeah. And I'll give you some more because I've done quite a bit of speaking.
Perfect.
I've done many podcasts with Vegas Legal Magazine. So if you want to check them are on Vegas Legal Magazine. They're on Facebook and they're on YouTube. So I've done 4 or 5 podcasts with that entity. There's an article out about that on Vegas Legal Magazine. So we're getting the word out there.
Yes, definitely are.
So, and that's my main goal. I mean, I'm very sorry someone lost their life in this, but I don't want to take blame for it because I feel I didn't do anything wrong. For having a substance in my bloodstream, okay, I'll take that bullet, but I wasn't impaired, so something has to happen with per se, and they have to base it on impairment and not a substance in your bloodstream.
Yeah, especially since you weren't the person that caused the death, or you also had witnesses that pretty much explained what happened, which is exactly what happened, and your son as well, being in the car with you and seeing exactly like knowing what a green light is as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is definitely our system. That's the representation of our system in
Yeah.
one like whole bubble of what they are.
Yeah, and it's not just me that's affected. It's lots of people are getting hammered for this, and it's not right. Some people, yeah, I know they're blitzed out of their head, but there's a lot of people like me that smoke, randomly or even daily, but we're not driving impaired. We use it responsibly. And I know there's the others that are driving and smoking, but, you know, we need to help the ones that have fallen victim to this per se law and really get some science behind it and backing and bring it to the legislation, bring it to the Senate, bring it to the Congress, because this whole reefer madness stuff needs to end. I mean, it's proven to help. CBD products are helping people greatly with many symptoms.
Yeah, and like you pointed out earlier, it is in like a lot of these cases are happening in states where cannabis is becoming or has been recreationally passed and medically passed, but people are still wrongfully imprisoned, wrongfully accused, and just getting the bad end of the stick when it comes to cases, especially like this one.
Mm-hmm. And in all the other states at the time I got in my accident, at the time, every state that legalized it for recreation changed their per se limits. In any other state I got in that accident, I would not have been in any trouble. California, Colorado, and Washington, I think, were the three, and Michigan. Them were the 3 or 4 that were on the books already, but they changed to 5 nanograms. I think in every state did 5 nanograms of active, and Colorado does the presumption of rebuttal. You can rebuttal it if you're over that you weren't impaired. So I think more states need to get on. I even think 5 is too low.
Yeah.
But, you know, who am I to
Somebody
say?
takes it before bed and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, 20 hours later, you really think that a half a marijuana cigarette is going to put me impaired for the next day, the next week, even the next month?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Feel free to add on whatever else you'd like, especially stuff that you would specifically like in the article when it comes down to me writing the article. And
Okay.
also, just after, you could email me some pictures of yourself that you're comfortable with sending. Like, you could send me pictures of you and your son, seeing that your son was in the car. If you're comfortable with that,
Okay.
just be like,
Yeah, I can do that.
article.
I can do that for sure.
Perfect.
Yep.
Is there anything else you'd like to add that you would like me to specifically put in the article, like specifically, especially to highlight? Because I am going to highlight, like, you doing these podcasts, you going to these meetings, you working alongside with Tamara, especially because Cruel Consequences.
Mm-hmm. Not really. I mean, if anyone wants to get on board with this cause, you know, the more the merrier, because I'm just one guy fighting a system right now, and we need to unite and fight the system, not only for Nevada, but all the states.
Yeah. Have you spoken
It's
with other people from Cruel Consequences?
just Tamara.
Oh, okay, cool. I've done 2 prior, so I've you obviously don't know the names, but I just did one with Cruel Consequences member Lucas Loy, and he's in Chicago, doing pretty much exactly the same thing you're doing, trying to get to the politics side of everything, helping with the political standpoint, making videos, doing podcasts as well. So I just wanted to let you know, like, there is more people in other states. I'm making sure to get their stories heard and making sure to support.
And I really think we need to get together, and, you know, maybe all of us get together that have been on Cruel Consequences. And I mean, there's a lot more than just that are on there, but maybe we need to go and stand up in front of the Senate, in front of legislations, in front of Congress as one unit and saying, how can you let this happen?
Yeah.
So I think if we unite, we can have a better fight instead of one or two of us pushing this charge. I think we need all of us just to buckle up and go on this ride and help others. I mean, the main thing is to help others. I'm not the only one that this is going to happen to in this state. Not going to be the last, and we need to help these people.
Yes, which makes perfect sense and exactly what we need. And I think this is great, and I'm so happy I got the opportunity to be a part of the restorative justice section of the magazine, especially as an intern.
Yeah. I
Because
know
there's
it
a
took
lot
us
that
a
I don't.
while. I know it took us a while to get this
Yeah,
done.
it's a time zone difference. Trust me, everybody else too. Like it's so hard because like especially with Zoom, I'm like, oh my god, I thought I did, but it's literally so crazy. But I'm glad we finally got to speak. Definitely,
Yes.
please feel free to reach out anytime because I will be working on this section for the rest of the summer. So I'll be on
Okay.
it for a while.
All right, and then I'll forward to your email pictures and anything else
Mhm.
I can think of, because I know there's more I did for this, but it's hard for me to gather all my thoughts because I'm on so many damn pills in the morning.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's a little bit easier to write it down and like look it over sometimes and just like, yeah,
Yeah.
the exact name and this is what I did.
Yeah. All righty.
Thank you so
Sounds good.
much.
No, thank you, because it's about time some of us get heard, and you're helping promote that. So I commend you.
Thank you so much. I'm definitely here to hear and I'm definitely here to spread awareness.
All right. Thank you so much. God
Thank you.
bless.
Many blessings. Have a great day.
All righty. Bye-bye.